came here to prove no tricks in the room, just hands on the board and a clear way through. You bring your best line, I bring my best move. No cheap little win, just something we can build. Lock eyes, take your place, let the crowd make room. One league, one name, and we all rise up. Fair fight, we stand together. Fair fight, we build it better. Win with your heart, win with your proof. Fair fight, that's what we do. We trade what we know, we teach what we find. A hand for the new, a seat on the line. From first time to champs, we grow side by side. No one gets left out, no one stays behind. Lock eyes, take your place, let the crowd make room. One league, one name, and we all rise up. Fair fight, we stand together. Fair fight, we build it better. Win with your heart, win with your proof. Fair fight, that's what we do. If you fall, we stay. If you win, we cheer. Every round we learn, every voice gets an ear. No throne, no gate, just an open door. What we make right here can always be more. Fair fight, we stand together. Fair fight, we build it better. Win with your heart, win with your proof. Fair fight, that's what we do. Fair fight, hands up, come through. Fair fight, this league is you. I woke up to the refinery glow, feeling my hands still running low. Blueprints stacked on the bench again. Every new fix just leads to 10. Walls go up, then the hunger grows. Another upgrade, another load. I built this place with my own two hands. Now it keeps asking me to stand. I'm tired, but I'm still here, counting every scrap I clear. If I keep my head on straight, it's worth it in the end. Gather the fuel at the edge of town, drag it back when the sun goes down. Research lines on a cracked up screen, chasing what this whole thing means. I upgrade one, then I need two more. That's the kind of life I can't ignore. It's frustrating, yeah, I won't pretend, but I'm not leaving this halfway built. I'm tired, but I'm still here, counting every scrap I clear. If I keep my head on straight, maybe this will turn to fate. Worth it in the end, worth it in the end. I keep on building, I keep on bending. Worth it in the end, worth it in the end. Every hard day, every slow spend, I tell myself it's worth it in the end. Someday I'll stand at the gate, came to play. One last hit, then we all say, close by close, we hold our line. Steel in the breath and fire in the mind. No empty throne, no lone wolf run. Every hard round brings us as one. Hear that shout, it rolls through the floor. One more clash, then we want more. Shoulder to shoulder, we rise in the glow. Tightest fight makes the whole room grow. Stand as one, stand as one. Close battle, still we come. Stand as one, stand as one. We fight hard, then we build this home. Stand as one, stand as one. Every hand keeps lifting someone. Stand as one, stand as one. We play for the league, we play for the bond. Quick right turn and near miss spark. One clean break, then back to the dark. Tiny margins, big brave hearts. One shared win from a dozen starts. New names, old friends, same battle cry. We learn your moves and we cheer you by. When the dust sets, we stay in the ring. Win or lose, we still hear that shout. It rolls through the floor. One more clash, then we want more. Shoulder to shoulder, we rise in the glow. Tightest fight makes the whole room grow. Stand as one, stand as one. Close battle, still we come. Stand as one, stand as one. We fight hard, then we build this home. Stand as one, stand as one. Every hand keeps lifting someone. Stand as one, stand as one. We play for the league, we play for the bond. From first sparks to final calls, we trade the scars, but we don't fall. Your name, my name, one steady flame. Across this field, we're more than a game. Stand as one, stand as one. Stand as close battle, still we come. Stand as one, stand as one. We fight hard, then we build this home. Stand as one, stand as one. Every hand keeps lifting someone. Stand as one, stand as one. This league is our home. This league is our soul.
Alright, hello, welcome everybody to This Week in Illuvium. We've got a bunch of news to talk about all around the Illuvium and its universe of games, and we were hoping for a little bit of good news today. Well, I think finally, in a nice little change of pace, we might just very well be getting that. Couple of topics happening here in today's episode. Update on AutoDrone runs and whether or not they'll be returning. We have some updates with Illuvium Deathmatch in regards to the statistics, in regards to how many Illuvials have we burnt off. Hollows and the graveyard collections are now more of a thing in regards to the reward side of things. How does that affect all of the hollows that have potentially been burned in Deathmatch? We of course will touch on this. Of course, we'll touch on This Week in Illuvium, but we're going to be touching on the arena insights. While we don't necessarily have a patch or anything to go through, we can still go through the current meta and see if there's any sort of shifts as of this moment. And of course, as always, we'll go through the leaderboards, the top sales, we'll go through Illuvium Arena House League prizing as well at the very, very end of the show. But I also, before we do end up getting there, I do want to talk about from my first, I guess, population report in regards to all of the Illuvials. I've been doing some data collection through the Illuvidex for the last month or so, and I'd love to share my findings with you in regards to potentially if any Illuvials are in danger of going extinct, or which ones are we losing, which ones are we growing, and all of that kind of data I think would be interesting for everybody here in the Illuvium universe here as well. As always, with this being a news show, like it may have my main focus, however, I do absolutely love to have the chat's input into everything here as well. I've got you on the bottom left-hand side here. As always, any sort of comments, concerns, or questions, feel free to fire them off, and as soon as I have the opportunity, as long as it's relevant, I can absolutely take care of it. So Kevin Hawthorne, ex-billionaire, good to see you nice and early here. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So without further ado, AutoDrones. Now, over the last 2 weeks or so, you would have absolutely heard me being very vocal about how I absolutely despised the change that happened with Illuvium in regards to AutoDrones. For those that may just be catching up now, basically AutoDrones, that was the way where you can actually use fuel to purchase Illuvial packs. And of course the fuel itself, that doesn't have to be purchased with crypto. You can actually use a credit card for that. And it allowed for gamers like myself, for example, to be able to actually get involved. Like personally, I'd rather not use crypto if I don't have to. I'd rather just use a credit card. And a lot of the other gamers maybe just getting started into Illuvium, probably thinking that way as well, especially if we're not directly targeting Web3 and we want to expand beyond just Web3 gaming. So with the AutoDrones just going out of the blue, nobody had anything to say about it. It just disappeared one day, and all of a sudden, Deathmatch was the only way that you can get packs. But of course, the only way you can actually buy anything through Deathmatch is through crypto, because in some countries you cannot actually buy crypto with credit cards. So it left a lot of players, like say myself included, completely just left out to dry, completely isolated, and there wasn't a word whatsoever said about it. No communication at all, to the point where even many council members and staff members had absolutely no idea that change was happening. So over the last 2 weeks, I was absolutely very, very vocal about how I hated this change and how this is the first time I felt truly slighted by Illuvium there. But I am happy to announce, as of a couple of hours ago, AutoDrone runs have been put back into circulation here. Pretty much exactly what we saw before. No changes or anything, just AutoDrone runs have returned. So anyone getting fuel based off of your leaderboard rewards, you can use these AutoDrones once again for your fuel. People who want to pick up Illuvial packs but don't want to go through Deathmatch, you can still now use your fuel, use a credit card to get fuel, and get AutoDrone runs in here. So an absolute fantastic change. I will say, the fact that this entire thing happened will still have me scarred. I do believe that that was a change and it was handled in a way that is still very damaging. However, credit where credit is due. I'm happy to see that AutoDrone is back, so that players like myself who don't want to use crypto can do the traditional credit card routes, pick up fuel as the premium currency, and then use it. I'm curious if there's still any sort of bonuses. As of right now, actually, it doesn't look like the fuel shop has changed. So as it stands for the time being, it looks like you can still get the bulk purchases, the additional bonus fuel for buying more, which was a big point of contention from some of the staff members before, if I recalled correctly. So as it stands right now, it looks like it's completely untouched. So bang for your buck. If you are specifically looking to load up on Illuvials, you are absolutely better off going through fuel, purchasing it that way, because you'd get more fuel and then going on AutoDrone runs instead of just strictly getting skulls through Deathmatch. How long will it be like this? We'll have to see. This was, again, one of the things that big points of contention that the Illuvium staff members and council had brought up. So I doubt that it's going to be like this for very, very long. But at least for the time being, if you want to go that route, you absolutely could, it looks like here. And of course, I think this is probably an appropriate enough time, of course, if you do wish to support me a little bit here while you're in the Illuvidex going for AutoDrone runs or picking up some fuel for yourself. I do have a referral code. My code is silent. You can throw that into your profile on the top right, and I get a little bit of a kickback that helps support me and also support the events like Illuvium Arena House League, for example, and any other events that I look to come through, because a lot of that money goes directly towards the prizing. Code silent. There we go, X-Pioneer. Thank you. Done with work, did my workout, watching some food before bed. Perfect. Good. Sounds like a fantastic evening there, Axe. I'm doing all right. Lot better now that some of our concerns have been heard a little bit here, so I'm definitely feeling really good now. Robertacho, good to see you. I hope you're having a fantastic day as well. Looking forward to potentially seeing you in action maybe this weekend. Or not this weekend, this Friday, if you're in House League. Alright. We were talking a little bit about Deathmatch. Let's hop on through into Deathmatch. So we're going to take a look at Bondaddy Ratty's Deathmatch Graveyard once again here. Take a look and see how many Illuvials have we lost, how many players are we gaining, and any the good stats in that regards here. So first and foremost, Hollows burned, of course, with the souls now being a thing here with the Graveyard Collection. If you do end up burning an entire collection worth of Hollows, you get a massive bonus towards your rewards at the end of each split. I believe last time I knew it was like 1,000 or 1,000 times rewards in regards to a Hollow, 2,000 for Dark Hollow. I might not have the exact number on that, but I do remember it being rather substantial, to the point where if you can and are in the position to maybe spend a couple Hollows to fill out that collection, that it would absolutely be worth it. And a handful of players are absolutely capitalizing on this over the last, like, say, month or so. When we took a look at the graveyard last week, there was maybe 9,000 Hollows burned, but now we've lost 2,000 Hollows in just 1 week because of the leaderboard, I imagine. And then they did also implement, I can't remember if it was in last week or not, but at least for sure in this week, we saw it a little bit during stream yesterday, how Hollows have that 15% stats buff that you can use in the deathmatch, and then Dark Hollows are a 30% stats increase, to the point where if I go into my last results here, for example, you will see just an absolute abundance. I know I'm cut off a little bit here. Actually, let me go into a display cap here to show you what I'm talking about here for this one. But a lot of my matches, granted some of them are against the same people who are just firing the same Illuvial over and over again, but you see Hollows and Dark Hollows absolutely all over the place. And from what it seems like right now, if you do end up, actually let me go back here, if you do end up getting the Revival Chance Booster onto one of your Illuvials here, apparently if you get this, which I believe only costs 5 bones, so essentially 5 cents, to be able to actually give yourself a chance at revival boosting, you do not have a chance of dying as long as you finish in the top 3 in a standard mode game. So I can imagine the strategy is, and I'm kind of thinking to myself, maybe that's why we saw in Deathmatch, say yesterday on stream, where I believe it was Sota, Sir Dexter, and a few others were able to absolutely keep using the exact same Axon, the exact same Kuka over and over again. They would lose, they'd get second or third every once in a while, but that thing would not die. And I think there's maybe even a couple opportunities where they're in like 6th, 7th, or 8th or something along those lines, and they still survive. So pairing up the Revival Booster with a Hollow of some sort, or a Dark Hollow, is a relatively safe play. Not risk-free. Don't get me wrong, it's not risk-free. But you can really go a long way into potentially boosting your deathmatch play, and I think that's what we're kind of seeing a lot here. Damn it, I knew Axe would catch on to that. I snuck the 8 in there to try and avoid the 6-7 joke, but you caught me. In terms of unique players, we did actually see a little bit of a bump up here over the last 2 weeks. So maybe the Graveyard and maybe a couple of these other systems are kind of helping Deathmatch a little bit. Of course, we've essentially lost, I imagine, based off of the bars, close to about half the player base. But again, this is one of those things where you're not likely going to be playing it all the time. Deathmatch is one of those games where you're just kind of going to play it in bursts. You'll get your full of it, you'll be content for a little while, then you'll come back a little bit later. I also imagine when Obelisk Rising does come out, when you can just go farm Illuvials in Obelisk Rising and then send them over afterwards, then maybe this will pick up a little bit, depending on how the on-chain or turning Illuvials from off-chain to on-chain kind of thing works. But over the last couple of weeks, slightest of bump up, or over this week rather, the slightest of bump ups coming on through here. So a good little sign, to say the least. In regards to our last couple of days here, will it actually allow me to see? For about 6,000 deaths over the last 24 hours. Mode activity over time. Let's take a look at this as well. Staying relatively steady. I mean, it's a little bit on the lower side compared to launch, but that's to be fair. And then advanced, I know, is having a very hard time right now. Oh, and this blue bar, of course, is just actually free mode. So standards in the green, and they're definitely dropping a little bit. But if I go into the actual results for Deathmatch itself, if I go to, say, global results, we have actually had a little bit of a gap here since our last standard match. So yeah, there are opportunities where even standard mode has some quiet periods, it looks like here, with our last match, say, being 3 hours ago. But then you get essentially periods where there's multiple matches happening every single hour. So it's got some hot periods, it's got some cold periods, but Deathmatch is not donezo by any means. It's still absolutely fine. It's more so the advanced mode where we start to see a little bit of a conflict here, where the here, let me switch it over, where days are going by in between advanced mode matches, whether it's just too expensive as an entry fee, whether for whatever reason it's just not necessarily very sought after right now. So advanced is kind of quiet. I keep hearing that they want to try and do changes to the advanced mode. They've been changing, or having the idea of changing, the entry fees for a little bit, but they can't seem to find a sweet spot. And while advanced is meant to be a more elite mode, a couple days going by between matches is definitely a little bit on the high side, to say the least. So hopefully for advanced mode we can see a swap up there sometime soon. Hector, good to see you. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Catching Illuvials for the slaughter, like, it definitely could, like, whether, because you have a few things, right? With Obelisk Rising, you'll get that bond system where you can just mass catch Illuvials to then try and funnel experience and your bond level towards that Illuvial, but you could, on contrary, throw it into the Deathmatch ecosystem as well. How's my day going? It's going all right overall. Much better than the last couple days now that AutoDrone runs are back. I feel like we've been hurt a little bit, and I'm very thankful for that. Hope all's going well for you as well. Yeah, standard 9 out of 10, exactly. So it's getting there. It is weird seeing a couple hours between games, but it's not dead. It's just not always super, super active, but that's okay. In terms of the last 7 days, the most burned Illuvials. I actually kind of like the idea of that. I imagine it's going to be Lynx again. It looks like that's actually going to end up being the case here. We do see Lynx is on top with 2,400 Lynxes burned. The Monkier and the Water Buffaloes short to follow. Snail Turtle right behind there as well. Pretty close. Basically from second on down, it's very, very close just between a bunch of our tier 1s. But Lynx is just apparently getting an abundance of them, and people burn them off like absolute crazy. In terms of our unluckiest players, in terms of how many Illuvials they've lost over the last 7 days, A to the G having the hardest time here for over 4,000. Furies and JubJub right behind, or actually Furies is right behind A to the G, almost 4,000 there as well, 3,900. And then JubJub, 1,000 less Illuvials, but still over 2,900 Illuvials burnt. Caligon right there as well with over 2,000. Cyberset with 1,500. Sasha Siamp going to be over 1,100 this time by. Same thing here with Lynx PQP. That's a name I haven't heard in a little while. Over 1,000 burnt. And then RattyData going to be 8th here on this list at 800. So again, big shout out to Bond Daddy Ratty for putting RattyData together. Definitely helps me basically every single week gather as much information as possible around the Illuvium universe. So I do also, while we are here going into the arena side of things in just a second, do also want to give a shout out to RattyData's tournament series that has been going on. There are weekly events that essentially happen where it's a sit-in or a sit-and-go through the ranked mode, scoring points to eventually get skulls as prizes, which of course can be turned into actual in real life currency as well. Like we see here for the weekly side of things, it's going to be Bart leading the charge currently. If they can hold the line here, it's 25 bucks in their pocket. Wolverine 777 Hype in second. Bond Daddy Ratty Heck TON player apparently going to be in the top 3 here. Draknian in 4th. Hector from Mad Dogs of course in 5th. Texan 6th. Zyphet in 7th. Nocacho 8th. And Androa making the top 10 here with, or making the top 9 in regards to where the top cut is for skulls with 5 bucks there. With ZejaqWildfire right on the outside looking in. Then, of course, there is a monthly event into a monthly top 8 finale. We did commentate that one a couple of weeks ago when it was the June finale. That was a lot of fun, absolutely. In regards to who's going to potentially qualify for this one coming up, this is going to be, as of right now, Bart, Wolverine, Texan, Draknian, Hector, Bond Daddy Ratty, Androa, and Zyphet inside the top 8, but Nariba, PSOP, which we know is Dr. Spoon's brother, going to be potentially coming on through and scoring there, but Nocacho, Monster, Zejaq, there's a few people all right around the corner, and there's still plenty of time, of course. We're only at about the halfway point here in this monthly series, so good to have these awesome community events coming on through here as well. Thank you, Bond Daddy Ratty, for all of that, because while, say, a Illuvium Arena House League is more of a collection building and like social, like semi-competitive, but more so of a casual event, having something for those that are looking to try and push to top level as best as possible in a, like, it's a more serious kind of tournament setting. Ratty's coming on through very, very clutch. So shout out to Ratty. Hope all goes well. Keep pushing. And I imagine maybe we'll be casting one of those events sometime soon. We do, of course, have the other data coming on through here from the side of Illuvium Arena, which we have a little bit of an awkward spot, right? I did kind of touch on it a little bit during stream yesterday, but we did, or I was told by Nil himself, so that is the developer for Illuvium Arena as well as Illuvium Deathmatch, that the quote that I got was that they were laid off from Arena in particular, and they're just working on Deathmatch. How exactly, like, accurate that may exactly be, I'm not 100% sure, but it's from Nil himself, so I'm in a very curious position here. Or, like, not that I'm in a curious position, but I'm very, very curious as to how it's going to be moving forward here, because with Illuvium Arena as a whole, Nil has been kind of overseeing that for the longest period of time. Granted, Deathmatch, of course, is a little bit more of their priority in this instance, and that's totally fine. But what happens with Deathmatch now? Are there other people still or not with Deathmatch? What happens with Arena now? Is there somebody going to pick up where Nil left off? Is there another staff member potentially willing to spearhead it? Was there somebody under Nil that could then, like, take the lead on it? We have absolutely no idea. And I don't know. It's a very, very interesting spot. I imagine we'll figure out sometime soon, but in the meantime, we're kind of left with a couple of question marks as to what the future of Arena will hold. Because I'll tell you what, this Arena community, the Illuvium Arena community, especially excuse me, the Illuvium community, but especially the Illuvium Arena community. They are some of the most dedicated players that I've seen across essentially any game or any esport. And we don't want to be your enemy. Like, I know at least personally for Illuvium Arena, I'm constantly throwing out how this game could be better, but it's not like I'm trying to do it to spite Illuvium. If anything, we'd be the ones pushing the game, right? So I do hope it comes back sometime soon, or not that it comes back, it's still live. But I hope somebody's able to pick it up and we can keep moving forward. In regards to the insights themselves, let's take a look here. So we do have the same patch as last week, and with that, it's pretty much the same in regards to statistics here as well. Granite Mystic still seeming to be by far the top team in this instance here. Just too difficult to try and actually break, even with the Inferno and Fire kind of styles. There's just too much defense coming on through here from this Granite Mystic style. To take a look exactly at what they're building, this top one is definitely a good idea. It's whenever you get that Shadow Maul, you can pull this off. When multiple people are going for this exact same build, it can be tough because, again, you're going after the Geyser, you're going after the Adorius, which are fully evolved Tier 4 and then Tier 5 units. So if anybody's contesting you on this build, you do get hit pretty hard. But especially with the player base as a whole being a little bit more on the quiet side, or you're maybe getting 3 or 4 people in a game compared to a full lobby of 8, your chances of actually pulling this off is much higher. So they're running away with it, but I'd argue it's because nobody's really in a position to contest them. And that's why we see Mystic in the top 2. Steam showing up here as well, it looks like. Inferno Arcanite going to be up in the S tier this time. Inferno Behemoth is actually the one that's going to end up falling a little bit down to the A tier. Similar scenario here with the Behemoths, with them being 2 fully evolved Tier 4 units that you're going for. Every player that contests you on those Illuvials can be very, very painful. Now, in particular, I'm looking at the Seer and looking at the Jotun for this as well. And of course, Scoriox as well. It gets kind of used by everybody as of this moment. Just 6 Fire as a whole is just very, very strong. So even if it's not an Inferno or if it's not a Behemoth team, people just try to splash a Snake on basically everything. So the teams that are doing well are teams that would have a bit of a hard time if things were actually contested, but we're just not there right now. Steam Harbinger and Tried and True also going to be showing up in the A tier, but then we do see a pretty significant fall off of basically everything else. We're starting to see just a handful of Granite, Verdant, and Inferno Harbinger also showing up here as well. Yeah, so no balance patches. We're going to get basically the exact same thing there. Granite Mystic continues to dominate the arena with 6 Fire essentially short to follow now. With it being Wednesday, of course, we do have ourselves our leaderboard snapshot going to be coming on through. And of course, our fuel can actually be used for something now with AutoDrones being back. So I'm very excited for that to be coming around. But let's take a look and see who our top players are across all of our Illuvium titles that have leaderboards. Starting off with Illuvium 0. The weekly reward seems to be 0.01 ETH this time by. And again, the snapshot or these placements will be locked in about 4 hours' time. In regards to anybody actually making any differences from last week, so far, at least in this top 3, not exactly. Teresa still going to be on top with the Abizer, Bora, Pew in the top 4. Winx is going to make the pass here onto Jackie Teo, 5th and 6th respectively. Bernolion going to be in 7th still. Then to round up our top 10, we've got the Exuberant Ramp Fight. We've got Kakeen Way and Wetlog 94 going to be in our top 10 for this week in Illuvium 0. For Ascendant Ranked, of course, rest in peace, actual Ascendant. The thing that we got and was called Ascendant can go, but not the old one. I missed the old one still. In regards to Gauntlet, though, we can take a look at this here. Of course, Bart, just like last week, going to be on top with 21 Knight, right short behind them. And Texan going to be in 3rd to round up our podium. Does anybody else really get a move? Well, we got a couple moves coming on through here in just a second. So Badul in 4th and Test 001 in 5th. That's going to be the same compared to last week. But then Wolverine 777 Hype is going to make the pass on to Draknien, who's going to drop down to 7th. Hector of Mad Dog's going to be in 8th. Weak Jotun in 9th. We have Torx in 10th. Zyfed in 11th. Surfer Dude 12th. Androa in 13th. Red Jack 00 going to be 14th. Aqua Squawk making a move on to Antoshino to get up to 15th. Kirito 17th. Balian Ranger. I don't know if that's a rename. I think I probably called them out last week as well. I can't remember, but that is a new tag, or at least a new name to me. They're going to be moving up into 18th, making the pass onto CFGD. With then our Boots Wildfire rounding up our top 20 with no Ketcho short to follow. Where am I at? I think I'm around here somewhere. There I am. Still in the top 40. Well, that's a little bit monster. I might have to hop into ranked after the stream for a few minutes. Maybe see if I can make that pass, considering we're right on the bubble here for where $2 and $5 change. We'll have to see. But congrats everybody on the leaderboard. Beyond Wave 5, of course, that leaderboard is completed, but we still do have set 1. Gonna quickly take a look. Shout out our leaders, of course, Alexa, Final Boss, and Leader Ricola, Hector, Jub, Samsara, Hyper Hunter, Bond Daddy Ratty, Steve-O, and McSign. The top 10 stays the same as of right now, but Alexa continuing to lead the charge rather nicely. We can hop into the Illuvium Deathmatch side of things here in just a second. Gonna switch over to display cap so we can actually see everything a little bit cleaner. But over the last 7 days, who are our biggest winners on the standard side of things? It looks like it's going to be Hector, actually, getting above Sir Dexter this time with over 10k skulls in the bank here. So that's about 104 bucks going in the way of Hector. Congratulations. Sir Dexter going to be in second, just under 100 bucks there for Sir Dexter. Furies with about 83 bucks worth of winnings going to be third. Cycled with about 74 bucks worth of winnings going to be fourth. Short to follow is going to be Sergio. Sergio is going to have about 72 bucks worth of credits, or worth of skulls rather, putting them in 5th. Caligon going to be in 6th with 61. A big jump down, and then we do see Patch Tourist with 47. Lucy Mai going to have 44. Money Shot 69 with 37, and then Return ADR, aka Monster, going to be there in 10th with 37. Taking a look and seeing if there's any sort of differences between people we see on the leaderboard here for more skulls won and then most challengers lost. Because you have to imagine that people who are high on one leaderboard could potentially be high on the other depending on how many they end up losing. So like seeing Sir Dexter up here with Furious and Cycled, I imagine they're basically playing just consistently. What's crazy is when I see somebody who's not on the most skulls won list and then are on the most challengers lost list. So this is a little bit of a hard time here for Spider Hero, Jump Bass, Eternity. Those are 3 players in particular having a little bit of an unlucky time here in Deathmatch, it seems like, unfortunately. Taking a look at the leaderboards for the advanced side of things. Quickly, there's maybe only been the one game actually, so that's just going to be Sir Dexter with their win over Furious, Money Shot, Furies, and Return ADR. Yeah, that must just be because there was only the one match, if I recall correctly. In terms of most bones won, let's take a look and see who's been able to gather as many bones as possible, potentially turning that into packs and upgrades for their team, or just keeping all those bones for the crypt, potentially. We'll have to see. Cyberset actually is going to lead the charge with over 40,000 bones. Deathmatch Daddy, short to follow, with about 36. Caligon with 35,000. Furies in 4th with 33. Jub rounding up our top 5 here with 31,000. Hector, 29,000. Return ADR, 27,000. Ole Frodo going to be there with 26,000. The Show with 25,000. And last but not least, Sir Dexter Monarch going to be there with 25,000. Most challengers lost, though, here in the free mode that aren't in our top 10. So A to the G is actually the leader here for most challengers lost in free mode, and they did not make the most bones won. So unfortunately, not going well there for them in this mode at least, but they're doing all right elsewhere, so no harm, no foul, so to speak. And Sachassi here is also going to be an outlier of sorts in the 9th place spot for most challengers lost. All right. That, of course, with the leaderboards, you still have about 4 hours, maybe just under 4 hours now, to actually make some moves, get yourself onto the leaderboards, get some fuel, get some rewards sent your way. Make some moves, maybe get yourself some packs for some time a little bit later on as well. But congratulations to everybody in a position to be able to score some rewards, of course. We are now going to get into our top sales here of the week. This should be an interesting one as always. We're going to take a look at our top 25 Illuvial sales for this week. And hop on over into full screen mode once again. Gonna start things off. Let's see. Does no Cacho just essentially carry the entire Illuvidex again? Or do we get some new faces potentially showing up here in the Illuvidex? Let's take a look. Starting off with this Dualef, a nicely offensively built Dualef, 64 TPI for just over $18. This one's going over to Communiac. Congratulations, Communiac, on your Dualef. We got a big old mammoth, a beautiful mammoth at that. It's coming on through here, maxed out tank-wise, decently set up offensively as well, including that perfect Omega stat. 91 TPI once again. This one's going to RTSSL. That is a new name to me. Congratulations, Artie, on your brand new fully evolved mammoth. $18 onto that one. An Arcane Hydrolinx, 92 TPI, essentially perfect. It's just missing attack speed, essentially. This one going over to Prowler's second account. There we go. Just over $19 there for Prowler. This rather nice Adorius actually coming on through here. It's only showing up as 70 TPI, but I'd argue that's actually kind of a low TPI considering how strong I think this Adorius actually is. Like, sure, it's missing some HP, but like offensively, it's actually pretty sound. And getting this Adorius at 70 TPI for under $20, that is kind of a steal in my opinion. And ZejaqWildfire going to be the one picking that one up. Congratulations to Zejaq. All right, here we go. We bump up and we're starting to get in towards the 20s. Beautiful Titanor coming on through, defensively solid. It may not be perfect, but this could still absolutely make an impact on the battlefield. Communiac going to be picking up that one. We see a Dualef coming on through for just over $20 this time by. 56 TPI going over to Communiac as well. So you got a pair of Dualefs, it looks like, coming on through here. Very, very nice. We see a beautiful Rip Lance, level 60 already. So this thing is ready to start topping the arena leaderboards at any point. It's just missing a little bit of Omega power to essentially be called perfect for $23. That one's going over to the Balian Ranger. Congratulations. Rampfire coming on through, loaded up with Omega power. It's got one job, and it knows how to do it. That's going to be a 77 TPI one going over to Sergio, picking up this beautiful Rampfire. A couple of Arcane Lynxes coming on through, Arcane Hydrolinx and an Arcane Terrorlinx. I wonder if it's going to be the same person. We do see just under $28 for this Arcane Hydrolinx. It's going to be PSOP picking up that one. And it's actually not going to be PSOP if the other one. It's just a funny coincidence that we see them right next here. That's going to be Prowler once again picking up this Arcane Terrorlinx for just under $32. Now we see a beautiful Dark Hollow Blotto. Now, of course, Dark Hollows, not only just some of the rarest Illuvials that you can find in Illuvium, but they do, of course, now in Deathmatch give you a 30% bonus to your stats. And with that, for $32, who's picking this one up? Oh god, I don't know if I'm going to be seeing this Blotto in a couple of days, but we'll have to see. Axe Billionaire, I'm just teasing, but this Blotto is an absolute gorgeous one. Good luck in your battles. I imagine that's probably going to Deathmatch due to the stats, but I could be wrong. But for $32, that is an absolute beauty. Congratulations. We see a Gnarl here as well. Dark Hollow for about 33. Nice TPI onto that one. That is also going to be Axe Billionaire picking up this awesome Gnarl. Watch out, Deathmatch. Here they come. We got a Furiox just right by level 40 here. 94 TPI. It's just missing a little bit of attack damage. Infidel going to be picking that one up. That's a new name to me for about 37 bucks. Competitive Ready Umber getting picked up here, level 60 already for about 38 bucks. This one's going over to Artie SSL. Couple awesome pickups here for Artie now this week. Infidel going to pick up this awesome Furiox. They picked up 2 of these Furioxes apparently, and it's not even the same one. Loading up at 2 of them. This one 43 bucks. Congratulations there. This Dark Hollow Riplance is an offensive monster. Low TPI, but again, it does one thing, and does one thing very, very good. It's going to be that burst damage. For about 44 bucks, that's also going over to Axe Billionaire. Jotun coming on through, and this one's offensively beautiful. It sucks the fact that it's missing only Omega Power. In fact, having a flat 0, but at least this fella is tanky and can still dish out a ton of damage. 94 TPI, this one going over to Sergio. For 50 bucks here we see, hello beautiful, a Dark Hollow Relentless Terrorlynx coming on through with attack speed all maxed out, but that's basically it. That's going to be Sergio picking this one up here as well. A beautiful little fighter. We're in our top 7 here for this week. We are here with about 54 bucks here onto our Rampfire. That's just missing a little bit of attack damage, but it's got the Omega Power it's looking for. Antoshino going to be picking up this awesome Rampfire for about 54. A perfect Kuka Raft has shown up, 99 TPI. It's just missing movement speed, so it's still basically perfect. For $59, that is going to be Mr. Cat picking up that one. Congratulations, Mr. Cat. Level 60 on that again. That's a beautiful, beautiful Kuka Raft. We got an Exalted Apon coming on through here, level 51, and it's only missing movement speed. Well, that's totally fine. Apon does not want to move ever, so this is, in my opinion, a perfect Exalted Apon. Going for just under 60 bucks, that's going over to Nocacho. I was going to say, we haven't seen Nocacho all week. Where'd they go? There they are, right near the top of our biggest sales here. Battle Ready, Arena Ready Rake, level 60, 94 TPI, just over 60 bucks. Mr. Cat, going to be oddly enough picking up the powerful Thylacine. We now see a Virtuous Lynx, level 60, just missing movement speed. So again, the Virtuous Lynx would rather not move. So this is actually a perfect Illuvial in my opinion. This Lynx for 74 bucks going over to Mr. Cat. Couple big pickups here this week here for Mr. Cat. Lastly, a couple of hollows here. This Fisto, 61 TPI, hollowed out. Of course, basically our shinies here in Illuvium for about 78 bucks. This one's going over to who else but the Tier 5 Stage 3 hollow. Right on brands, collecting those, which means who the heck got this Ador? In terms of stats, the Ador is definitely a little bit worse for wear. Only having movement speed and a little bit of offense, this thing's definitely wouldn't find its way very well in Arena, but it very well might perform admirably in a deathmatch scenario. So for just about 101 bucks, that's going to be actually Axel from Apex, going to be our top sale of the week here. The only one to break above 100 bucks this week, but still, style points, that is a gorgeous Ador. And heck, you might be able to play that in Deathmatch if you'd like as well. So, install it around. Congratulations, everybody who got some awesome Illuvials this week. Let's take a look at the Illuvium 0 land sales. For what might be the cheapest land sale that I have seen, somebody accidentally must have hit accept onto one of the bot offers, because this is an incredibly low sale, easily the lowest sale I've seen on Illuvium 0 land. This plot here at Halcyon Sea, who picks this up for a steal? I think that actually might have been one of the bots. I believe ZT 1900 might actually be one of those bot spams, so curse the bot for potentially ripping somebody off here, but that's going to be a $2.66 Lance plot. Off to Halcyon Sea for our next one, though, $20 here for Ethit, getting into the Illuvium 0 side of things. Congratulations, Ethit. For 31 bucks here in our spot here at Halcyon Sea, the Cello. going to be picking up a spot. Very, very nice. Congratulations. We're about 31. Jake Neon Walker going to be picking up another spot at Halcyon C. So it's going to be 4 so far here for Halcyon C. A little bit of movement in that regard. Just under 37 bucks here for Jake Neon Walker. For just under 40 here at Abyssal Basin, Drake Reaper going to be picking up an Abyssal Basin plots. A couple of new names so far that I've not seen at all here in the Illuvium Zero front for a good while. So congratulations to our newcomers. Hopefully get those cities built up as quick, or not as quickly as possible, but have fun with the process, build up your city, and then hopefully by the time you got it all situated where you want it to be, we'll have some sort of feature that actually makes it worthwhile playing. Taiga Boreal going to be our first of the tier 2s in this one. 75 bucks going over to the Satisfied Doka. Satisfied Doka going to pick up another, this time for a Crimson Waste plot, though. That's going to be 79 bucks going over there. Anthony going to be picking up for just under 100, another tier 2 plot. This one in the Shard Bluff Labyrinth. Congratulations there. And is that another one? Nope, we got SZ1ZO going to be picking up a plot here for just over 131 bucks, and is the biggest sale that I've seen across the Illuvials and land plots here this week. Congratulations to everybody, of course, for picking up their land plots. Like I was saying, build it up. I hate to be negative in regards to saying like there's nothing to do, but once you've got that city built up, just start hoarding your fuel. Get ready for whenever some utility comes towards Illuvium Zero, so that you can truly utilize and maximize your play here in Illuvium. Yeah, I don't like being negative, but other than just hoarding fuels or hoarding fuel and then picking up blueprints for the sake of picking up blueprints, there's not much to do right now still. I know there was always talks, heck, months ago we heard about Sanctum Mesa requests potentially becoming a thing that would also kind of lead into a leaderboard of sorts. We've also, for the last year and a half now, I had heard about training gyms in Illuvium Zero, and there's just been absolutely nothing on the Illuvium Zero front. So hopefully that changes sometime soon, for not just the leaderboards and people like trying to get something out of it, but just being able to have fun, have something to do with it. I know personally, I would absolutely love to turn my plots into just training gyms. I would love to throw my tier 5 or all my stage 3s, because let's be honest, we have a hard time getting stage 3s onto the battlefield, right? So I'd love to actually just throw all of my stage 3s into training gyms and just let them passively grow. Because in Arena, I'm hardly ever hitting them anyway, and it's brutal how long it takes to actually get it, especially if you're trying to level up a tier 5 or a tier 4 stage 3. That you get those so late in the game that you maybe get 3 or 4 rounds out of them, and that's basically it. So Illuvium Zero training gyms, that's definitely something that I would love to see comes around sometime soon. Now, for the first time here on This Week in Illuvium, I'm going to be showcasing my population report. So, as a part of the Silence House community rescue, one of the things, of course, I'm trying to do is not just, of course, supply prizing for Caribou Cup as a part of Illuvium Arena House League, but I do also want to keep at least 2 of every single Illuvial. That way, if Deathmatch starts popping off, or certain Illuvials are being used more than others, that if breeding or some other system comes through Illuvium before Obelisk Rising comes out, or with Obelisk Rising, I know personally I'd love to see breeding as a part of Illuvium Zero. I'd love to be able to do that, but basically just have some way that we can keep every species alive. That is the goal here of the Silence House Community Rescue, and we'll get the quick update here on all of that as well. The main things that we're missing as of this moment is just going to be a couple of the tier 5s, and then a few of the Lynxes, a few of the tier 4s here as well. But we're pretty much at a point now where Caribou Cup basically has almost everything they need, to the point where After pricing is distributed later on this week, the winners from last week will have like their chance at pretty much every tier 4 and every tier 5 they could possibly want. So I'm very happy to be able to help grow those collections for all of those players leveling up. But again, as a part of doing the community rescue, it then had me thinking about what exactly then happens with the Illuvidex. Because if you go onto the Illuvidex, it can be a little misleading. You'll see like the total number of Illuvials on the Illuvidex, right? But that also includes Illuvials that have been sent to the burned accounts, like where Illuvials from Deathmatch go to die. So you can't take that total as gospel. So what I've been doing is over this last month, I've been collecting data for how many of each Illuvial are listed. Now, I know that's not going to be a perfect display or representation of exactly how many Illuvials are showing up, but I feel like this could at least give us an idea of a pattern of what we see. Do we see certain Illuvial types growing? Do we see the loss of certain Illuvial types? Is it just straight up impossible to buy certain Illuvial types? That's what my setup here is going to be trying to figure out. And with that, I want to start us off with the most grown Illuvials. Quickly getting things set up here. This also kind of helps us another question here. If the purpose of Deathmatch is to kill off Illuvials, what would happen if all of a sudden majority of them were growing? So let's take a look. I'll try and zoom it in here so we can actually see my charts. I know it's a little bit on the tough side. Okay, let's start from Seaforus, because Seaforus is in a funny spot. Okay. Flashbang warning. Here we go. So Seaforus, oddly enough, based off of the listed Illuvials, is the only Illuvial that stayed completely even. No new Illuvials have been listed, or no less. But if we start looking at the biggest gainers, we do see the mammoths coming on through, specifically Mammoose. This is the fully evolved one, up by 2%. Gyrdalox, the fully evolved water buffalo, up by 2.7% this time by. Exalted Gorilla going to be moving up alongside the Stoic Terralynx. And we're seeing like majority of these Illuvials so far just up, up, and up, and up. Slashing, very popular Illuvial for Arena, still going up. Break, popular, still going up. Axon, Kukaloos, Kuka, all around 7.5 to 8.5. Now we're starting to get into 10% growths here in regards to how many we see on the Illuvidex. Which for some of these, like here with the Virtuous Zephyrlynx, there was only 27 of them in June of 2026. So I did my first calculation here, the number on the left, that's from June 8th of 2026. And then on the right here is July 8th. I just took these right before the show started. So yeah, 3 more Illuvials coming on through here for the Virtuous Zephyrlynx. But as you can see, 30, that's still pretty low. Caribloos, we do see a big increase by 10% alongside the Gorillas, or all the monkeys rather. We have the Apon, Greater Gorilla, Greater Apon, 11 to 12% increases. Rye going up by 12. Umber, Titanor, big expensive Illuvials coming on through here with big increases here as well. Titanor finding 5 more listings as of the time. Goliath's going up pretty significantly here as well. Phosphorus, I thought that Phosphorus being a popular deathmatch Illuvial would actually hurt it, but it seems like it's going up still. Same thing with the Fisto, it's going up and up and up, and I haven't even gotten to the big movers here for this month. Gorilla up at 14, Caradulo is up, Jotun is up, Railu, Steers, Stoic Lynxes, Arcane Lynxes, a lot of the Lynxes within the double digits as of this moment. Even Rampfire going up big time from 36 to 43. So a lot of these Illuvials, again, that I thought would be getting killed off because of Deathmatch do not seem to be getting killed off, at least in regards to listings. As a total, sure, probably. But again, total is kind of misleading due to the amount of dead Illuvials that could still be counting towards that total. Adorito, 30 more Adoritos getting put into circulation here, so an 18% gain there. Nimble Emberlinks going up by 4. Tiruro and the Greater Monkier also getting 18% increases. Coral, Fur Knight, Stabbin, Singe, all around 19. And now we're getting into some big numbers. A lot of our tier 1s have gotten some significant increases since Deathmatch has come into circulation. 20% increases or more here for Atlas, Tatofi, Axodon, Twine, Scarabok even. That's a tier 5. Forus and Foe. 2 other tier 5s coming on through here with 20% increases and some significant increases here as well. From 160, for example, here with the Foe to 198. Almost 200 Foes now in circulation. Dorius, the big final evolution there for the Elk line, going from 50 to 62. Lesser Monkier, Flood, Matu, Lolura, Archie, Chuko, Tianti, 22% increases. Furiox up by 23% here as well as the Nimble Lynx and the Revo. Relentless Zephyr Lynx, Geyser, Arcane Terror Lynx, Virtuous Terror Lynx, all getting some big increases. A lot of people through Deathmatch were getting a ton of fully evolved Lynxes through packs. So I imagine just sending them over because they are, and even still, are on the low side in terms of the amount of Illuvials that are actually available via the listings. Since, of course, they weren't necessarily the most popular to catch when Overworld was around. And then with Arena, they weren't very popular either because you can never actually predict what Lynx is going to be in the game. So we're seeing that all reflect here into this one. Kukaraf, 60 more Kukarafs being put into circulation. Kronk, big moves here as well. Stinolf, Blazonite, Alfie, Tibiruko. We're seeing some serious Illuvials. Octius. So it's not just like, oh, tier 1s are all like flourishing. No, even tier 5s are going absolutely crazy. Octius, 29% increase. Ramphy, 29% increase. Riptorus as well. And now we get into the big guns here. So all of them in the dark green. This is a 30% increase or more. Archelion, Scoriox, Gyro, Quinks, Ador, Virtuous Lynxes, Squiz, Verminio, Riptor, and Dash, all between 32 and 39% increases in terms of activity on, or listings on the Illuvidex. Now, last but not least, anybody in this deep green, and there's a lot of it, it's 40 or more % increases since Deathmatch has came into circulation. Ferns, Aces, Arcane Hydrolinks, which again though, even though it's a 41% increase, that is still only 35 in circulation currently, so keep that in mind. Mule, Lura, Vermilier, Rota, Artes, Arcane Flora Lynxes. Hetty, a big one coming on through with almost, or just over 100 more Hetties being added into the Illuvidex. Nimble Hydrolinks, Stoic Flora Lynx, a couple of big moves there for the other Lynxes. I mean, you can just assume at this point here, just all these Lynxes getting massive ones. But I'm going to take a look at some of these non-Lynx ones. The Baby Mammoths, 46% increase there. Fury, Flare, Cling, 47, 48. Now, our biggest movers, though, of the month, I'm going to quickly hop on over. Seems like everybody has just been throwing EBs into this. As a tier 4, it is still relatively rare, but not a lot of people are fans of the EB. And unless you're playing a Mystic team, you're probably not too worried about it. So it already had a decent amount of Illuvials available, but it's going to be jumping up by 69% compared to last month. And then everything else for the most part is actually just in regards to the Lynxes, with the Relentless Terra Lynx in particular being the biggest mover with a 74% increase on the Illuvidex. Outside of that, though, we do also have to take note of the Slappin', the baby penguin. Of course, whenever a decent penguin is coming on through, oddly enough, it goes into people's minds. We've seen enough Death Pengu to know that this line is good, but a lot of people have been picking up Slap-ins, throwing them up onto the Illuvidex, and they're seeing a 53% increase alongside the Winks there at 48 as well. But if that is all the biggest winners, there are some Illuvials that actually have been killed off a little bit more and did not grow. We're going to start off here at the bottom. So the Gnarl, oddly enough, did lose by 2, so it's a very, very small decrease. Meanwhile, Vermiliere, we knew it was going to be good for Deathmatch, and oddly enough, we did lose about 6% of them this time by. It equates to about 7 total this time. Same thing here with the Exalted Monk here. A 6% loss there. We do also see Archos getting an absolute beating as well. I don't know why in that instance, but we are going to be seeing a 60 or almost a 7% decrease there. Exalted Apon going down to about 9% and going below 100 now. And I do believe, because when Deathmatch first came out, Apons were absolutely incredible in free mode before everybody started throwing their tier 4s and 5s in there. Apon, bang for your buck, was probably a great bet. So we're seeing a lot of them actually get killed off here. Gazatep, oddly enough, as well. I don't remember them as a very strong Deathmatch Illuvial, but it does seem like they have taken a loss since Deathmatch came through. Monarch and Riplance also going down by 11 and 15% respectively. Some pretty serious losses here, in my opinion. We are losing like borderline 15 or more of those since last month. Riley going to be losing 20 Illuvials, it's about 16% there. Malura, we knew they were going to be strong as well. Sought after in Arena, sought after in Deathmatch, and it's causing them to actually get killed off a little bit, only 104 listed. We do see a hit to the Dualef. That is our third most lost Illuvial of the month. They are now borderline extinct at this point, with only 28 left available. Chakondi took an absolute beating as well. I do believe that was another one of those Illuvials a lot of people would pick up for the sake of Deathmatch. They're going to be losing over 20 Illuvials as of this moment, a 25% loss. And the biggest loser in Deathmatch as of right now that took the biggest hit is actually the Blotto, which was essentially a solid, like, it's a winner in majority of free mode games, but it could actually hold its own very well in standard mode, maybe even advanced mode as well. You couldn't really go wrong with the Blotto. So because of that, everything has gone wrong here for Blotto, and they are actually on a very strong downward spiral in terms of their population numbers on the Illuvidex. So definitely got to keep an eye on that. I'm going to essentially do this every single month. I'm going to get the list sorted out. The one thing that I did miss compared to June 8th, I accidentally took the total number compared to the listed number for the tier 0s. But starting next month, I will also be keeping tabs of the tier 0s listings here as well. So we got to be careful. These Illuvials are not infinite. Granted, at the same time, yes, when Obelisk Rising comes out, it'll be much easier to farm for them. And now, of course, we do have the AutoDrone runs back, so you can pick up packs in that way. But that is basically... not that's basically it, but depending on how things go, we could be into a weird spot where certain Illuvials, before Obelisk Rising releases, could very well be endangered. Because also the other thing I have to keep in mind here, this listed number does not take into effect TPI. There is no filter for me to get that data easily. I'd have to go through everything manually, but you have to assume that some of these Illuvials listed are probably bottom of the barrel in terms of TPI. If I were to find a listed number, and I'm going to try my best to be able to figure this out for next time, the next time we do this. But of the listed Illuvials, how many of those are actually competitive fit? I imagine it's actually disastrously low. So if there was ever a Illuvium Arena tournament to come on through, outside of House League, outside of the RattyData events, or if more players were to come in and try and get competitive even for those events, and they're looking for competitive Illuvials, there's a good chance that they're not going to be able to find one, or if they are going to be able to find one, it's going to be very, very pricey. I'm very quickly actually hopping over to the Illuvidex right now to see if there is maybe a way that I can find for competitive and just do a brief look in that way. Let's see, if I were to go say to tier 5s, for instance, because I know these numbers are going to be probably abysmally low. And then my mindset of competitive is, say, 75 plus TPI. And I know that's being generous. Let's see if I can find it. Doesn't appear to allow me to do so. Yeah, I'll have to look at it again some other time, because right now I can't quite get the filters to work the way that I was hoping for. But you have to imagine that the total number of competitive Illuvials would be single digits for some of these. Now we're going to be hopping on over to the House League side of things in just a second's time. First and foremost, of course, if you do want to hop into this week's Illuvium Arena House League, this is a one-off for an ownership off special. If you do, or if you consistently compete but feel like the lack of levels on your Illuvials or the TPI of your Illuvials is basically just holding you back, and you wish you had a fair playing field to play up against everybody, well, this week that's exactly what's going to happen. Stats, TPI, level, everything is turned off. So this time, everybody's playing with the exact same Illuvials. Make sure you sign up in the description below. There is the link there if you want to get the shortcut. I'm going to also start promoting this a little bit more through the next couple of days. People are consistently asking me for ownership off. Let's see if the amount of lobbies, the amount of players are actually there, because this is a perfect opportunity to show me what you got. We're going to end up basically doing this like a mimic of an actual tournament as well. So depending on how many players end up signing up, we'll get like so many lobbies. If there's like, say, 32 players, we'll have 4 lobbies going with the top top 2 moving on out. Quick math, but top 2 moving out into a final event. So you get to actually play 2 games worth of House League if you're going to the finals this time. Make sure you sign up there, and then here's our opportunity to go and do some pack openings in just a second. So what we're going to be doing next, quickly popping it open. Yes, the AutoDrones are live. However, there is one thing that Deathmatch still has that AutoDrones don't. That is a bulk opening option. So I think that for the meantime, and so I don't have to bug Illuvium to switch the prize distribution method again, I think for at least the time being, I'll keep it in Deathmatch. Just open them up here, send them over to the Illuvidex, and then send them over the day after. Because I do like the bulk opening option a little bit more compared to the single openings for the time being. But if AutoDrone somehow gets a bulk opening option, 100% I'm switching over to that, because the overall experience of AutoDrone pack openings is definitely much better with all the shiny borders, animations in that regard. But because we have like certain instances here where, say, our winners are going to be getting 10 Illuvial packs, it takes a while. So we'll stick with the deathmatch opening style for now. Let's see, we've got it open. There we go. Especially with the current insecurities with ADR, who knows if it stays? That's a fair point, too. Yeah, because I think the general consensus is that like the majority of players would understand if AutoDrone runs left once Obelisk Rising is in. Because you are going into Obelisk Rising to get Illuvials, and you can do that with fuel. So that kind of makes up for it. But in the meantime here, where we don't have any way to actually go farm our own Illuvials, we kind of need that AutoDrone run. Again, I'm still very frustrated at that entire situation. And it scarred me a little bit. It does have me very, very worried in certain instances. But to give credit where credit is due, at least it's back. Yeah, past week's meetings have been delayed. People are not showing up to the meetings. Again, I'm not a staff member. I'm not a council member. I don't know what goes on behind closed doors. But yeah, from these last 2 weeks since the AutoDrone run situation happened, you can see just the amount of delays, the amount of problems, and then how long it took for ADR to come back, but then how quickly and easy it was to just kind of remove it from us. It leaves some scars. I'm thankful that it's fixed now, but I'm scarred that it happened, so we'll be careful moving forward. But of course, I am still very, very thankful for Illuvium and this awesome community, and I'm thankful for Illuvium for, of course, presenting and providing the skulls available for all of this prizing here through Illuvium Arena House League, supporting the community run events here. Means the world to me, and I'm very, very thankful that they are still absolutely on board. Because I know if they really wanted to be stubborn, I talk enough negative that they could probably kick me out if they wanted to. But I'm thankful that they understand it only comes from a place of care, and I'm not just trying to speak negatively for the sake of speaking negatively. Okay, so our prizes for today's event. Let's take a look here. Display cap, switch over, flashbang, here we go. So our winners from last week in House League, of course, Ethit was able to take it over Robertacho in the Caribou Cup. Ethit's got 3 packs coming their way, Robertacho with 2 of them, and then after these packs are opened, I will then see what you're missing, and then we'll do the community rescue. I delayed it a little bit, because I realized, imagine I sent Ethit a stage 1 of a tier 5, and then we open their packs and they get the exact same Illuvial. That would feel kind of bad. Those community rescue points would be essentially being wasted. So, moving forward, I'll open the packs first, then give the community rescue Illuvials, if that makes sense. Then the Lynx League, Illuvium Hunter finds their 2nd or 3rd win, I think. Overall 3rd win, actually, because they did just win from the week prior as well. There we go. We got 6 packs coming the way of Illuvium Hunter. Gatling back on the podium first time since the opening weeks, has 4 Illuvials coming their way. Or, not 4 Illuvials, but 4 Illuvial packs coming their way. Then ZejaqWildfire once again securing a podium spot. 3rd place with 2 packs coming their way. Sota, right back on top here in the Monarch Masters, 10 packs coming their way. Dr. Spoon going to be having 8 packs going their way. And then Wolverine rounds up our podium with 6 packs coming their way. So let's start things off with Ethit at the top. Yeah, there we go. So Ethit, for the 1st place finish in the Caribou Cup, has 3 packs coming on through. Good luck, have fun, let's see what you get. We start things off with a Jotun, 60 TPI onto that one. That is a beauty. A bunch of HP, alongside full Omega Power and movement speed. Arcane Zephyr Links, an 80 TPI variant of that. That is a nice find, if I do say so myself. Got a couple of fully evolved links actually coming on through, and I think the fully evolved links is was something that you were actually missing, so this pack could potentially help fill out a lot of slots here. We got a 6-7 Vermilia. There you go, X. Coming on through there. We do see Relentless Links coming on through as well. A 53 TPI Lura as well. Let's take a look at some of our lower tiers this time. Little Ace coming on through. 70 TPI Links. Not too bad here as well. Any other major standouts in our lower tiers? Does not necessarily look like it, but still a couple of solid pickups, especially on that top row. So congratulations, Ethit, on a fantastic performance last week, and for what I hope could be a couple of new Illuvials added to your collection. Congratulations. We'll send these all off to the Illuvidex. Not my starter. I don't think you can actually send the starter anyway. Send to wallet. Alright. So later on tomorrow, before I go live with my tryhard stream, I'm going to have all of these sent out. That's going to be the game plan. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and essentially get this done as quick as I possibly can. Alright. Ethit's been opened here. Next up, Robertacho. Two packs coming their way for the second place finish in the Caribou Cup. Alright, there we go. Locked and loaded. Two packs. Here we go. Fire away. Good luck. What is it with Jotons here today? My goodness, we're going to find another one. This 145 TPI, but look at that Exalted Fire Valente right next to it. 85 TPI on that fully evolved Tier 0. 69 TPI onto the Lynx. A very tanky baby Lynx at that. Not too bad. 71 TPI Rota is going to be a little bit of a standout there, alongside a 77 TPI Lesser Fire Tipo, 74 Lesser Nature Tipo. So a couple of good Tipos coming in to potentially fill some spots. And then we do see our first holo of the day. That's going to be the Lesser Nature Flish coming through holo. Congratulations, Robertacho, on your new awesome Illuvials. Yeah, an Exalted 85 TPI. That's actually surprisingly rare. So, awesome little pickup there. It may be labeled as a Tier 0, but that thing's actually pretty sick. Alright, those are all sent off. Robertacho's set there for now, which now lets us move into Illuvium Hunter. The first place finish in the Lynx League. Going to be getting them 6 packs in a second here. Load it up. 48 Illuvials on the way. Good luck. Let's see what we get. Okay, it's not a Jotun, but it's a Jokol. That's going to be the best pull labeled this time here for Illuvium Hunter. 44 TPI onto that Jokol. Do we have any sort of standouts, though? I mean, the Heady, 73%. Loaded up on attack damage as well as HP, so not bad there. Do we have any surprise standouts, maybe in some of our lower tier Illuvials? Archie, 84 TPI onto that one. That Greater Water Valente, Axe, say hi to that one. Greater the Air Doka, 72 TPI onto that, so not bad, not bad. Otherwise, seems like just a handful, a bunch of Illuvials coming up through. I'm not sure if they'll necessarily be a starter on your roster, but as always, no matter what with these Illuvials, once they're yours, and whatever you do with them, that's all up to you. I hope they make an impact in your adventure one way or another, but still a handful of awesome Illuvials, including another holo coming on through here with that Flish. So that's 3 for 3 when it comes to Polar Bears being the top pick in a in a set of packs. Yeah, at the very worst, if these Illuvials end up going to Deathmatch, it is what it is. Just make sure that you've got your arena team all set and good to go first. Oh. Illuvium Hunter all set. Gatling. Alright, Gatling with the second place finish has 4 packs coming their way in just a second. Lock in, load them up. 4, yeah, 4 of them. Alright, is this going to be more polar bears? Let's see in just a second. Fire away. Okay, it's not a polar bear this time. It's going to be the Arcane Hydrolinks as the best pull. 79 CPI onto that one. A Relentless Link's going to show up as a holo as well, so going to get a shiny in that regard. In terms of any high TPIs, nothing else in the top row. How about our second row? Anything there? I mean, the 74 Kuka, right on the borderline of what I would consider competitively fit. Normally around 75 is where I would consider it, so still not a bad Kuka. We have a holo once again. Caribou going to be showing up for you, holo. And then the highest of the tier zeros seems to be a Fleesh or lesser Fleesh at 71 TPI. So again, here for Gat, congratulations on your awesome new Illuvials. Congrats on the second place finish in the Lynx League. Hopefully we see you again sometime soon. And as always, I hope these Illuvials can make an impact for you one way or another. Alright, setting these off. A little bit of a visual bug. It's the first time we're going to end up seeing that one. So here, I'll switch this over here. And while I load up the next one, just quickly fix this. ZejaqWildfire, you're next. Third place finish in the Lynx League gives you 2 packs in just a second. And that tripped me out here for a second. I see all of these Illuvials still showing up in the challengers list, but if you notice in the actual bracket, it just says 1, so that is just my starter. So I'm going to give it just a quick second here to hopefully fix itself up. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we're good now. I feel better opening a pack then, so that there's no overlap. Or no risk of overlap. Alright, ZejaqWildfire. That again is 2 packs coming through. Yes, 2 packs. So load them up. Let's get at least 1 Dark Holo. That would be absolutely incredible. Of course, not just for the absolute style points that you get for having an awesome Dark Holo in your collection, but for those willing to risk it, of course, that is now a 30% stat buff if you were able to put that into Deathmatch. Alright, 2 draws. Let's go. Mammoth coming on through as the biggest pull here. That's going to be the middle stage evolution Mammoth. Matu. 32 CPI onto that one, though. Exalted Earth Flish. 2 Exalted Earth Flish actually coming on through. 54 and 55 TPI onto that one. Any TPI of note for some of our lower tiers? Does not look like it, so at least there are a couple of rare ones in regards to at least the Mammoth, potentially even having the Cling. But TPI-wise, definitely did you dirty a little bit here, Zejaq. I'm not going to lie, but hoping for these Illuvials to make an impact one way or another. And if you were missing an Exalted Earth Flish, well, you've got 2 to choose from. One little bit of an all-arounder, and then one actually solid on the attack speed and attack damage, which for a Flish is actually pretty solid. Scoring them. Oh, I guess that is kind of nice here as well. One thing that did just come to mind in regards to Deathmatch. So if I recall correctly, is there still a limit for power on Deathmatch? And is that limit still 50? Because if that is the case, this Mammoth is actually set up beautifully for maybe some standard play. It could potentially be a thing if that's something that they're interested in. Send these onto the wallet. Alright, ZejaqWildfire, all set up and good to go. Again, all of these Illuvials I'll be sending tomorrow morning, or morning my time rather. Wake up and essentially get the job done then. And then once those Illuvials are sent, I'll then go into the community rescue and see what Ethit and Robertacho are missing and do my best to use some of those community rescue Illuvials to help fill out their collection a little bit more. I imagine we must be getting close to getting you fully loaded here, with maybe the exception of a couple tier 0s and tier 2s. Maybe some tier 5 stage 2s and 3s at the same time. Alright, next up, SotaHYPE. Won the Monarch Masters main event. Now has 10 packs coming on through for them right here, right now. 80 Illuvials on the way here for Sota. We know their collection's already pretty damn good, so it's gonna take something major to find a starting roster spot. There they are, actually right in chat right now. Pray to the Illuvial gods. Let's see. To the grand Tipo in the sky, may there be something beautiful. Let's take a look. It's going to start off here with the Arcane Hydrolinks. 74 TPI on top, that's one. We do see a Scarabok coming through, so there's one tier 5 in the mix this time by. 78 TPI slapping coming on through. That thing could definitely hold its own. Same thing here with that Lynx. A Gyro coming on through this time as well. A little Fern, 32 TPI coming through. Anything TPI heavy as of this moment? I'm not seeing anything as of right now. So to quote Soda, I think from last week, I see a bunch of bones here. Might end up being the case. We do find a hollow coming on through here. Greater Nature Flish going to be hollowed out there for you, Sota. But otherwise, there is just a bunch of low TPI. We're getting 2 more hollows coming on through here with the Rye and the Lesser Apon. Otherwise, it's probably a pile of bones, according to Sota. We'll see. Still a bunch of Illuvials coming on through. Nonetheless, I hope they're able to make an impact for you one way or another here, Sota. Even if it does mean just free mode battling. Because, yeah, if you're trying to look for, say, 50 power, closest thing you're getting here is going to be that Arcane Lynx. And I mean, the Verminio is not bad either, by all means. Of course, Verminio and the Anteater's very, very good in Deathmatch, in my opinion. They will be sacrificed to the old gods. I'm sure they will. This one will take a hot minute, though, because there was 80 Illuvials. Welcome to the hell, exactly. If I were to make one request, that there be an option, a hotkey or something that I can just do select all, that would be wonderful. The only reason it would need to be implemented is for exactly what I'm doing. Like, I don't see somebody hitting select all on the menu for traditional use of this game. But I definitely appreciate it, if possible. Alright, there they go. Gonna get the visual bug here in just a second, but we'll get all documented. Packs have been opened. Next up, Dr. Spoon. With the second place finish in the Monarch Masters main event, that is going to reward Dr. Spoon 8 packs in just a moment. Alright, can't confirm everybody made it to the wallet safely, so there we go. 8 packs, load them up. We'll see the Illuvium gods, the Grand Atipo in the sky does not necessarily seem to be on our side here today, at least not as of late. They're handing us a few polar bears early, but otherwise that's basically been the gist of it. So let's see, for Dr. Spoon, who again is one of those players that has probably one of, if not the best collection in the game. So it's going to take something good to make a starting roster spot onto their team. Let's see what they can get here. Wolverine, good to see you. I hope you're having a fantastic day. You're actually up next, so hang on tight. For Dr. Spoon, let's see. This one is going to go to the Twine. 66 TPI Twine coming on through. 260 TPI Stabbins. A couple of 70 TPI Lynxes alongside an Exalted Monk here and a Baby Mammoth. Can we find a couple of other ones in a second? Let's take a look around that 50 mark. So the Lynxes are probably going to be the closest thing that you can get for standard, if that's what you're looking for. Exalted Air Doka, 75 TPI onto that one. That's actually a rare find, in my opinion. And this next one, an 80 TPI Lynx. I mean, I know Dr. Spoon's Lynxes are literally perfect, but that one can still go a long way. Exalted Air Grocko showing up there. Seeing this one. This has to be the lowest TPI I have ever seen on an Illuvial. A 1 TPI dash. Or I guess that's false. When I played Illuvium Overworld, I had a Grocko that was a perfect 0. But a nearly perfect Nundo coming on out here for Dr. Spoon on that dash. That thing's a relic in its own right. This row, nothing too crazy. This row, 93 TPI, lesser water Atipo, actually. Just missing some attack speed. That is a nearly perfect Atipo. Nothing from that row, nothing from that row. That'll round things up here, so. Hector wants the dash. There we go, eh? Dr. Spoon will be happy. Stabbin is a favorite Illuvial by far. I have a feeling that you're trolling me a little bit, but we'll see. If not, yeah, there's 2 Stabbins coming their way. One TPI. That is hilarious. Not the starter. And there we go. 64 challengers. Send them off. And we'll send them to you tomorrow morning. Alright, last but not least, as we get this documented one more time here, Dr. Spoon's packs have been opened. This leaves us with one more player. Wolverine 777. They just arrived into chat at the perfect opportunity after a 3rd place finish. We have 6 packs of Illuvials coming their way. Wolverine, Dark Hollow Rampfire coming soon. Just like your Dark Hollow Duolith, right, Hector? Yes, absolutely. That would absolutely be insane. I completely agree. check, make sure we're all good. Looks like all is good there. So again, 6 packs here for Wolverine. Last one of the day. All right. The Illuvium pack gods have not necessarily been with us so far today. Can we change this for the last one for Wolverine? We're going to start things off with yet another Lynx, but it's going to be a 76 TPI Nimble Ember Lynx. Offensively beautiful, actually. Nearly perfect. So the TPI is actually doing you dirty. Only missing the 1 point in HP and 1 point in resistances. Otherwise, it's just movement speed and screw movement speed. This is the closest thing I think we've gotten to a perfect Illuvial in a long time. And it's going to be this Nimble Ember Lynx. Crazy to think we've had a better chance at finding a perfect Zero than we have a perfect Illuvial, but that Lynx is an absolute standout. We then have that Dash coming on through. I mean, 73 TPI, not bad. Flood, 59. Little baby Mammoth. A Heady come... Oh, is that a perfect Heady? Oh, that is so close to a perfect Heady. The only thing it's missing that's relevant is Omega Power. That is basically like a 95 TPI in my heart. That is a beautiful, beautiful Heady. Did they fix the displayed stats last time they were wrong? Oh, I don't know about that. I have no idea. I think they're still wrong. Okay, so keep that in mind then. If I'm going over the specifics of the stats, then maybe it's not exact. All right, in row 2 here, we do see 2 Lynxes actually, 79 TPI and 82 TPI. I imagine Wolverine already has a bunch of Lynxes ready, but those are 2 fighting fit Lynxes in my opinion. The Greater Fire Doka, 83 TPI onto that one. Beautiful. An Exalted Fire Tipo coming in case you happen to be missing one of those. Anybody else of interest here? I mean, we do have a couple of tier 0s in the 80s, actually. 85 TPI Lesser Nature Doka. And then a Lesser Air Grocko at 80 TPI. Very, very nice there. And otherwise, that's basically the gist of it. So, in theory, there are some pretty beautiful Illuvials here in this group. Do keep in mind that maybe these stats are not exactly as we saw here on screen. Because yeah, if that Heady is actually as displayed, I don't think you're going to be too upset about just missing only Omega Power. And I was going to say, why does it say 49? It's because I hit my starter. Whoopsie. Alright, let's send them off. You're very welcome. My pleasure. Again, big thank you to Illuvium for supporting Illuvium Arena House League and supporting their community arena events by supplying the skulls for not just my events here through House League, but helping supply skulls for Bondaddy Ratty as well for their events. Keeping the community side of things going, because at the end of the day, like, yes, we can be a little bit stubborn, and we're giving a lot of comments in regards to how we want the game improved, what it should have, how it's sad, how certain things haven't been implemented yet. But the biggest thing is that even though Arena isn't perfect, and that Illuvium as a whole is still growing, still in its like calm before the storm, the dedicated Arena players, if anything, we want to be, I'd argue, be the ones that like champion out your games. I don't want to say your products because I hate that word, but your games. We already love it so much, and we want to be able to talk positively about it. We don't want to be playing this just because of sunken cost fallacy or something along those lines. And we would love to tell like our friends and other community members about this game, and that's why I really hope, because we talked about it a little bit earlier in this week in Illuvium, how with Nil stepping back, or in his own words, was laid off from Arena and strictly just working on Deathmatch now. I hope that there's somebody in Illuvium that is willing to pick up Arena, realizing that Arena doing well not just after Obelisk Rising releases, but if Arena does well prior to Obelisk Rising releasing, we can hype up the MMO. Like I said before in my proposals, in my documents, in my videos, we have an incredible timing that can still be hit here with Illuvium Arena, where we can get Arena to boom a little bit with just the pure fact of play Arena, level up your Illuvials now, play them in the MMO later. That is something absolutely huge that can still be done, and honestly, it just needs to be promoted that way, and I think there maybe needs to be a few systems in place that can actually reward not just the top players for playing, but reward anybody for playing. So whether that be, again, something like the daily goals system, like we used to see with the Battle Pass, or potentially a free Illuvial every day for logging in, or something along those lines. If it has to be, like, free Illuvials given or something, like, let the TPI be weak. Heck, make it 0. If we're worried about bots, make it 0. There are many things that can be done to allow for Arena to hype up Obelisk Rising. There being another version of Arena, another version of the old Survival, is not that play. It is not that game. I'm happy it's going to exist because I miss Survival. But we need, I feel like, Arena now to actually help boost Obelisk Rising, if that makes sense. Whether it be resources or whether just straight up not wanting to, we didn't have that before. Heck, trying to get patch notes was like pulling teeth. I hope that there is still somebody out there that I hope that there's still somebody out there on Illuvium staff, Illuvium Council, that still sees the value in Arena, sees the fact that there is still untapped potential due to its incompletion, and that there is somebody out there willing to take it under their wing. I know personally I'd be forever grateful. I'm very excited for Obelisk Rising in particular, of course, as well. But like I said time and time and again, there's a world where the competitive side of things for Obelisk Rising being the Mythic Plus Invitational, kind of like dungeon PvE style of competitive, speedrunning style, that competitive scene can live at the same time and flourish as a PvP arena scene. Those are two very different styles of competition, and with two very different styles of competition, that can bring in more fans who may play both. Some might like one more than the other, but at the end of the day, that's still more people coming in, wanting Illuvials, wanting competitive Illuvials, and just giving just a better gameplay experience for everybody. Those players might one day then have to lean on Illuvium 0 players for something. Those players then are going to be looking to maybe some of our veterans who already have competitively set teams or extras. So gameplay, markets, experience, the entire experience of Illuvium is still untapped. So I'm very, very hopeful still for the future here of Illuvium. I hope somebody's able to pick it up, because it would be an absolute shame if Illuvium was just not left to die, but just left to dust. I hope somebody picks it up. I know it's a little bit on the earlier side of things, but I'm going to be winding down in just a moment's time here, actually. Chill with y'all for a few minutes before closing up shop. The one thing I didn't do is actually mark down Wolverine. Let's just mark that that's actually been opened. go, that part's good. And then let me see. I'm curious about the last couple of Illuvials there in particular. I want to see if maybe those stats changed at all. Oh, I'm looking at my personal. It's on the events account. Duh. Should probably fix that. Quickly gonna go take a look at that here in just a second. By recent, it was what? It was a heady that we were looking for? Okay, it does look like the stats changed on the heady ever so slightly. Here, I'll pull it up for you here in a second. It's still a good heady, just the points weren't aligned the way that I thought they were. And then it was an Ember Lynx, I think, right? A Nimble Ember Lynx? Ah, yeah, similar scenario. Bugger. Okay, here, I can show you now. So the Nimble Ember Lynx, I thought this one was perfect because it was only missing movement speed and I think 1 point in HP. It does look like there is actually attack speed missing from the Ember Lynx in particular. And then for the heady, some of the points went into movement speed and not HP. So it's still an absolutely strong heady, but it was a little different than what we saw in the deathmatch overlays. Unfortunate. Still good though. So again, congratulations on everybody on their Illuvials. I hope again, regardless of it making a starting roster spot or not, I hope that it does make an impact with you one way or another. Of course, that isn't going to be the end of streaming for me this week. We will be right back in action tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be kind of my try-hard day. If Monday was my theory crafting day, where I was just trying to get Monarch to work in as many different ways as I possibly can. And Thursday is going to be me essentially doing my tried and true, sort of speak, and going at full try-hard. So whether this ends up being my Invoker squad, maybe this ends up being something that I was leveling up over the last couple of weeks, or something along those lines. Either way, looking to try and push into the top 20 during tomorrow's stream. Then on Friday, of course, is going to be Illuvium Arena House League, the ownership off version. Everybody's on the same playing field. There is no levels or stats to skew the results one way or another. Definitely going to be looking forward to that one. Hope to see you there. Explainer, good to see you. Have a great night. Look forward to seeing you again sometime soon. And then for Monday, I don't have it listed as of right now, but I'm debating on trying a little bit of a discussion kind of style stream. I'm curious how many topics we can knock out in a time, because I would love to be able to do a tier list of my favorite Illuvials, or ranking Illuvials just how I personally like them. I feel like that could be kind of fun. I'm kind of surprised that I haven't done that yet. I've done tier lists before of just individual Illuvials by themselves, but I don't think I've done one just of the Illuvials just based off of me liking them. So I think that'd be kind of fun. I'm thinking of a couple of other like possible discussion and theory crafts kind of style parts for that stream too. Like say, for example, like how would I implement legendary Illuvials into the game? Because that's the one thing that we're kind of missing, right? Overworlds never necessarily had Illuvials that were considered legendary. If tier 5s were meant to be the legendary Illuvials, then I imagine like Overworld going down and then the packs kind of just made it feel very, very weird. It's not going to have that legendary effect. And if I recall correctly on a dev talk with Perry, I think I asked a legendary like base question, And it sounds like we're not going to get any for the initial release. Like, there's not going to be any legendaries for set 1. But going into set 2, there could potentially be. So, of course, knowing that legendaries could potentially be a thing, but knowing it also has to work with Arena, how would I do it? Maybe we'll theory craft some ideas. Yeah, there's a few things I could probably talk about. Because even though we are in a very quiet period here in Illuvium Arena, or Illuvium Arena and just Illuvium as a whole, there's still a lot to speculate on, lots of things to talk about, and as always, the community is absolutely awesome. So, again, big thank you for everybody tuning in. The big win here for us this week was that the AutoDrones have come back, and credit card users like myself and non-crypto users can actually build a collection through packs through AutoDrone now. So, big win and big thank you to Illuvium for doing that. I'm still, again, very upset that that had to happen in the first place, where it just got removed and we got isolated. But, again, thank you for fixing the mistake. I hope something like that doesn't happen again. But also, again, with fuel as it stood last time we checked, also as a reminder, because we do still have the bonuses attached to fuel, so that you get a little bit more from buying in bulk, which means that you technically, at least as of right now, get more bang for your buck buying fuel and then buying Illuvial packs through AutoDrone than it is buying packs with skulls through Deathmatch. So please do keep that in mind if you're looking to pick up a bunch of Illuvials sometime soon, that there is still the benefit of going through the fuel route. And of course, I'll plug it one more time. Of course, if you do happen to be loading up on fuel to pick up some Illuvials for yourself, it'd mean the world to me if you can use my referral code before you do so. Anytime my referral code is used for the purchase of fuel in particular, I do get a little bit of a kickback that does come to support myself alongside the events that I run, like, say, Illuvium Arena House League, where I can then go into the Illuvidex and pick up a couple of Illuvials that we are missing for the community rescue, for example, or other potential prizes coming on through with my events. So it'd mean the world to me if you could drop my referral code. My code is SILEN. You can just pop that in the top right-hand corner of your profile. Massive thank you to everybody who's already done that as well. I've seen an influx even over the last couple of days of people using, or not using my code per se, but they have my code ready for use, and I thank you so much for that. It means the absolute world to me. But we will call things a night here for today. Big thank you again for everybody from tuning in. It's been a fun week so far. I like streaming basically streaming multiple times every single week here. The 3 times a week was fun. The 5 is actually really cool, though. It gives me something to look forward to every day, and I thank you all for doing this. As long as I'm still having fun doing this, I'll keep going. It doesn't matter if I'm not making a cent. I don't care. The Illuvium community is awesome. Love you all, and I look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow for my Try Hard Arena Day. Time to rank up. Looking forward to it. I'll see you then.
Woke up tired, didn't sleep all night. Mine's still running like a traffic light. Red for stop and green for go. I'm stuck somewhere in between them both. Brushed my teeth and checked my phone. Everyone looks like they've already grown. Smiling faces, perfect lives. I'm here asking, what am I doing with mine? I don't have a plan, I just have today. Trying not to throw the little good away. Heart still heavy, but I'm still here. Taking one small step through the fear. I'm tired, but I'm not giving up. I'm scared, but I'm still showing up. One small step is enough today. I'm not fine, but I'm on my way. I'm tired, but I'm not giving up. I'm scared, but I'm still showing up. One small step is enough today. I'm not fine, but I'm on my way.